Okay, this is going to be a basic overview of what is going on between Israel and Palestine. I'm not going to go into full history because you can watch a lot of videos for that. What I'm trying to explain to you here is what the real game plan is for Israel and why Israel does what it does and why it gets protected by these colonial powers when everybody else in the world is against their actions. So this is Israel. You have the West Bank here and you have Gaza Strip here. This is where the Muslims are living, the Christians are living, who are oppressed by the Zionist Jews who are living in Israel. So this is Israel. Basically, if you go to the history, the entire land belonged to Palestine, and then England decided to give this piece of land to the Jews who wanted to have their own homeland in here because they consider this their holy land. Muslims also consider this their holy land, and Christians also consider this their holy land. Before England gave this piece of land to the Zionist Jews, it belonged to the Muslims for the last 1,400 years, and the Muslims were living side by side with the Christians and the Jews here. But now it is in control of the Zionist Jews, and they completely restrict what you can or cannot do in this land, including the land where Muslims are living, which is the West Bank and Gaza. So understand why they are so repressive. What Israel is doing is a completely different tactic that they apply on West Bank people versus Gaza. Basically, they gave the land of Gaza by taking all the Jews out back in 2007. And the whole purpose of them taking all the Jews out from here is so that now they can easily stop the water supply, they can control the electricity power supply, they can control who they want to bomb, when they want to bomb, how much they want to bomb. They can control anything and they can do whatever they want. There's no Jews to kill now. It's all just Muslims and Christians that they don't care about. And this was the purpose of them leaving Gaza, letting Gaza be living on its own. Now Gaza is basically blockaded completely. That means everything here is controlled by the Israeli army. You cannot go to the waters to escape to some other country if you're a person who's born in Gaza. You cannot import anything in here unless it is sanctioned and allowed by Israel, and they hardly ever allow anything, including essential medicines. There is no anesthesia. Imagine you need to conduct surgery and you don't have anesthesia. You cannot get anesthesia because Israel is not going to allow it. They don't get life-saving medicines. They don't get insulin access. And there are like 2.3 million people living here, but they don't get the essentials they need. This is before all the bombardment and everything that happens every now and then. This is the regular life of the people living in Gaza, majority of whom are Muslim. So the people in Gaza are blockaded by sea. They can't go to the waters to even fish. They have to get a fishing permit to be able to fish, to get some food from the ocean. They can't do that. They have to get a permit from Israel, and only then can they go out fishing. And even then, if they cross a certain boundary of their past their time, or if they do any kind of violation that they were not supposed to, or if they do not have a permit and they are found to be there, Israeli forces, the Navy forces that are sitting here, they're all going to shoot directly at the people living here. So they commit murder on a day-to-day basis. Nobody says anything because they're all protected by these G7 countries, Germany and France and US and Canada, etc. Primarily, obviously, US. So Gaza is basically a prison surrounded entirely by Israel. They decide what goes in. They decide that nobody gets out. Nobody can leave Gaza. Not from this side, not from here, not from there, not from here. Nobody gets to leave. So you're stuck in this hellhole where you can't get any kind of treatment. The hospitals keep getting bombed every now and then. The water supply is not there because they only have groundwater. They depend basically on rainfall. They literally depend on the water coming from the sky as their source of water. There's a desalination plant that Israel provides, and the reason why they provide it is so that they can control the water supply of Gaza. This is the whole point. So it is an extremely, extremely repressive way of living. Obviously, it is the worst kind of atrocity you can think of on a human being. And believe it or not, the people who are now being bombed are actually, sadly speaking, amongst the lucky ones who have departed this earth for better life in paradise, to meet God. Because the ones who are living here have a much worse life. This is the regular life of the people in Gaza. Now, why does Israel do this? This is because you should understand the aim of Israel is not to kill all the people of Gaza, even though they definitely are doing their best to make sure that everybody's dead. But their end game is to kill everybody, to remove all the Palestinians from here, obviously. But their interim goal, which is what they're doing every now and then, these bombardments, they don't aim to completely kill the people in here in Gaza. The aim is to make sure that there remains hate in the people, in the hearts, in the minds of the people living in Gaza. The Muslims here, the Christians here, should hate the Jews living here. They should hate them. Now, why would Israel want these people living in here to intentionally hate them? Because that is the only excuse that they have that they can use in front of the world and say, well, they hate us so much, they want to kill us all the time, so obviously we have no choice but to blockade them. You see how they've developed this chicken and egg problem? This is what they do. And they're doing it so well that the whole world is buying into it. So when they're bombing a hospital, for example, and they intentionally target the neonatal unit, which is the section where babies are being born, and they bomb that hospital and that particular department where 25 babies have perished, what would happen to the family, the father, the mother of that particular baby who's seeing his baby die? When they don't allow anesthesia, and a father who has a daughter who has cancer and she needs surgery, or she has been bombed and so they lost a leg and they need to do emergency surgery on it, but they don't have any anesthesia, what are you going to do? You have two choices. You can either watch your daughter die, or you have to perform surgery without anesthesia. Imagine the pain of a father who has to watch his daughter getting surgery with no anesthesia. The level, the amount of hate that'll be there in the hearts and minds of these people who have seen their daughter wither in pain. There's nothing in the world that'll wipe it out. Doesn't matter how much of religion you teach them, doesn't matter how much Quran you show to these Muslims. The one who has seen his family suffer in this agony over and over, he's just not going to listen to any reason. Maybe not even religion, even though they're doing a great job of trying to stick to their religion. But they're not even going to want to listen to anything. They just want to take revenge because they hate the people living on the other side who are doing this to them. And so long as you have hate, you can justify this blockade. You can justify controlling this land. So they want to make it so difficult for them to live here that they eventually, when they die, they would actually prefer death over life. Why don't they simply kill everybody here? Because the moment, for example, they go and do a Dresden-style bombing, they do a nuclear bomb here or something, the whole world is going to blame Israel for it. You can't get away with that. And so they don't have that choice, which is why the only choice they have is to completely control this land like a prison, which is what they're doing. And it's not their money that they're spending for all of these weaponry and gadgets. They simply get the money from US. So what would they have to lose in this? So remember, the name of the game here is hate. So long as you have hate, you're going to be able to control Gaza, and the world can't say anything because the excuse that Israel has to provide to the world is, come on, these guys are literally saying they're going to kill me. Imagine you're in your house, you've been locked up in your bathroom, in your house, and now you're asking the guy to let you out to the bathroom, and you're banging at the door of the bathroom, and you're saying, you better let me out, or how dare you put me in here? If you don't let me out, I swear I'm going to kill you. You're saying this because you're stuck in your own house, you're a hostage in your own house. And so all the person has to do to show to the world is when somebody else comes to that house and says, what is all this ruckus about? What is all this fuss about? All this person has to say is, look at this barbarian. He's saying he's going to kill me openly. Come and listen to what he's saying. And all this person has to do is show you shouting from the bathroom. And you'll be saying, yes, I'm going to kill this guy as soon as I get out. He has, made me a hostage in my own house. And so the guy who has kidnapped you, who has taken at your house and put you in the bathroom, can simply say, you see, I can't let him out of the bathroom because he himself is saying that he's going to kill me. How can I let him out? I can't let him out. And so it's a perfect excuse to make sure that you continue to remain in the bathroom. The problem is when more and more people come to the house and they keep seeing this kind of, they keep hearing this noise, they keep hearing this pain, and people start questioning. What will happen is eventually the person who's in the bathroom, who's quiet now because he's tired, maybe he has decided to continue his life in that bathroom. Maybe he's drinking the water from the bathroom. Imagine this. When he's living this life, but he's quiet, all of a sudden the world is going to start asking. The people in the street are going to start asking this man who has taken the house that this is not your house. What happened to the guy who used to be there? And since people are now caring about the guy in the bathroom, this person has no choice but to make sure that you start yelling again. You start being angry again. You start saying that you're going to kill this person. Or else people are going to start questioning what happened to the guy in the bathroom. And so every now and then, this person who has taken you hostage in your own house and kept you in the bathroom, he's going to keep giving tear gases inside. He's going to keep blocking your water supply in the bathroom. He's going to keep killing your baby in the bathroom. Your entire family's in the bathroom. All of this will continue happening, and you will continue yelling and crying and saying, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you. So long as this hate keeps going, the entire machinery is running. This is how they've been able to continue with this kind of occupation for the last 20 years in Gaza. Now, the name of the game here is hate. I hope you've understood the basic idea of why they're manufacturing hate in the people in here. The aim is not to kill. The aim is to kill them in a manner that their future generations always hate them. And that's why anesthesia is blocked, essential food is blocked, water supply is blocked, electricity is blocked, because the amount of hate you will have when you're living in these deplorable conditions, that is what they're trying to manufacture. And that can only be generated when you are blocked from everything that a human being requires for basic human dignity. If they start bombing you, then the people who hated you are dead. A new generation is born. And if they start allowing them to come to Israel, within one generation, the people, the Muslims and the Jews and the Christians are all living together. They're going to the same school and everything. You forget all the hate. You start living with each other. Think of all the countries in the world where you've had hatred. But in the next generations, they don't remember the hatred because they just studied that in history books. But they have to make sure this hatred continues. So your next generation should know about the hatred. So they always make sure that your babies are dying, your children are dying, the kids are dying. The hatred that you would have for the other side because of what you're seeing is always going to continue. Now, the name of the game on Gaza's side was hate. The main, obviously there's fear as well, that you should be fearing them. But the amount of hatred is the main thing. So think of it as 80% hate and 20% fear. It's the exact opposite here in West Bank. Israel controls the West Bank. But here, the main thing that they rely on is fear. So this is not blockaded. What they're doing is incursions, imperialistic incursions. They just have all kinds of military. They have martial law in here. They can just come into any part of the house, anybody's house. They can block any road, any street. They can put a house on top of some Muslim's house. They can allow the settlers, the Israeli settlers, to come into your house as a Muslim or a Christian, and they can simply ask you to get out, and you're gone. You're nowhere. So obviously, this is going to generate a lot of hate, but it is not as direct an attempt to create hate. The attempt is to instill fear in the hearts of the people living here. So these people, the whole idea is that they should try to leave to other countries as quickly as they can. They should not try to want to keep this land for themselves. So the main thing that they're doing here is fear. Obviously, there's lots of things I can tell you about what tactics they're using on the West Bank. It's just disgusting stuff that we can discuss some other time. But there's a lot of things they're doing here to instill fear, just like I gave you the example of what they're doing here to instill hate. Now that you've understood what their tactics are, this explains why they are able to do what they're doing. How is it that they're able to kill babies and block anesthesia and all of these things, throw white phosphorus, knowing that this is going to be devastating for the civilians living there? How are they able to do this? Because that is their aim. They want you to hate them. And this is how they justify their existence here.